California. So this is according to Bloomberg, okay? There is a reparations task force approved by the state legislature and signed by Governor Newsom. Tell us what reparations should be to African Americans in California. On July 1st, they have to issue their report. Right now, they are considering $360,000 to each of the 2 million blacks in California. 360,000. Okay, total cost $640 billion with a B. Now, California has a budget deficit of $22.5 billion. So they can't afford it. And nobody's going to give them this money. They're not going to be able to borrow it. The feds aren't going to give it to them. So they can't pay it. It's impossible. So whereas Newsom, he doesn't say anything. But this loopy Sacramento legislature, they could pass this, which will lead to more people leaving California. Now, in 2021, there has not been a more recent poll. Black Americans were asked about reparations by the Pew Research Center. Okay? The question was, do you think descendants of people enslaved in the USA should be repaid in some way, such as given land or money? Yes, 77%, no, 17%. That is overwhelming. And I don't think it's changed since 2021. So black Americans want reparations. So joining us now is a colleague of mine, Dominic Carty, works at WABC Radio, as I do. And some of you are listening to the No Spin News now under the title of Common Sense on WABC. Dominic Carter is a longtime political reporter. He joins us now from the city. Okay, in your experience, Dom, why do so many African Americans want free stuff?
You know what, Bill? I think you know I'm a straight shooter. And I'm going to answer your question, but I have to start with this because I would be remiss if I didn't. I want to thank you for what you've done throughout the years, always telling the truth to the American people. Bill O'Reilly, you are the man. You're right. People want free stuff. And in this case, it's disgusting from those in the African-American community that are pushing this bill. It's divisive. It's never going to happen. States can't afford it. City can't afford it. Why push something that's never going to happen? I would think, honestly, Bill, and you know, we can talk about a number of issues as it relates to this. I would think that it would be more important, in particular, in my community, in the Black community, to discuss the issues, the more prevalent and relevant issues of Black on Black crime and education, rather than some pipe dream of reparations that's never going to happen, ever.
But again, why do so many African Americans want it to happen?
Well, you said it in your lead-in. Free things. One, Bill, I want to believe, I really do, that most Americans, I know the numbers are overwhelming based on polling, but I want to believe that most African Americans in their heart do not believe that. I want to believe that most African Americans get up and go to work every day and they're trying to survive and provide for their families. This narrative of reparations, Bill, has always been there. But this is the problem, Bill, with the woke agenda that you talk about. This is the problem with Black Lives Matter, that they have pushed this narrative where now these types of issues are in the forefront. And so something that was always in the background, but not really the major issue, has become a major issue. And all it is, Bill, if I can be brutally honest with you, it's a crutch. It really breaks my heart that some African Americans are pushing this. But at the end of the day, it is true what you said, Bill. I mean, because slavery happened so many years ago. I'm not saying it was awful what happened in slavery. But whenever you offer free stuff to people, they want to take it. And frankly, that's been the Democratic narrative, and in terms of the Biden administration, particularly when it comes to African Americans. And we'll see if it works this time, but it's not going to help the community. All it's going to do is hurt the African American community. Bill O'Reilly, you know, it's your show. You're the man. What is the point of promising someone under reparations a home for $1? That doesn't teach you to appreciate the fact that you've got to work hard to come up with the down payment and work hard the American dream. You're selling somebody a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. Bill, I grew up, and don't tell me about, oh, well, Dominic, you're not black enough. Bill, I grew up in the projects of New York City on welfare without a father in my life. You're talking about reparations. To a degree, they're already here. I was able to go to college on basically an affirmative action type program, but it wasn't just for black kids. It was for white kids, Asian, for everybody. And that's the way it should be. This reparations argument is dividing America. It's not going to bring us together. And it's never going to happen, Bill.
All right, I got it. So after Kathy Hochul defeated Lee Zeldin for governor of New York, despite the fact that there were dead bodies stacked in black neighborhoods all across New York City. I mean,
absolutely.
You can't even go to the grocery store if you're a 67-year-old woman with a pocketbook, because somebody's going to steal your pocketbook.
Yes.
So the reason that Zeldin lost to Hochul was because 90% of black voters in New York City voted for Hochul. 90%, 9 out of 10. Even though Hochul is directly responsible for death and destruction in the black neighborhood. So then O'Reilly, this is what I do. I decided to research this. And I've never really said this before because my research is not complete, but I think that you are a good person to bounce it off, Don. The black culture now, the social culture in America, is so ingrained with grievance, as I was talking about with Donald Trump. Everywhere you look, all entertainment vehicles, hip hop, rap, all that. There's no more Motown. There's no more uplift. It's we're a persecuted race. We African Americans are persecuted by our own country. We always have been persecuted. We are owed not only money, but deference. We are owed free, get out of jail free card. You can't incarcerate us even if we hurt other African Americans. We are a nation aside. We are not what other Americans are. Our culture is different. It's based on grievance. And you, white man, or Asian man, or whoever, you owe us. You owe us. And you better pay up. That's what's driving this because, as you said, the Democratic Party plays right into that separate culture. It's like an apartheid. The black culture is different than the white culture in America. And most African Americans have bought it. Your reaction?
I agree with you 8,000%, Bill. You call it the way it is. And I'm now going to use that term, borrowing it from you, the grievance culture, because that's what's happened, sadly, and it really does break my heart in the black community. When I started out as a political reporter, Bill, in 1985, I was assigned to cover Jesse Jackson and the '88 presidential campaign. Every community we went to across America, in terms of the black community, it was always the same thing. High crime, things that exist now. And don't, I'm tired of the victim game. I think most of us are tired of this, Bill. I'm tired of it's everybody else's fault, but you're not introspective in terms of what are you doing? What is the community doing? And it has to stop. It really has to stop. And the only ones that can stop it, because Black Lives Matter, besides making themselves quite rich with buying wealthy real estate, it's been nothing but a con. Let's call it what it is. The George Floyd situation, it was tragic, but he's not the type of guy, no disrespect to Mr. Floyd, that the black community should be looking up to. Frankly, we should be looking up to doctors, lawyers, educators, people that are doing the right thing. Nobody wants to talk about it. the black on black crime. Everybody wants to frankly blame white people for what black people are doing. No, at the end of the day, we are responsible, Bill, and we should have a better grasp of our community.
Well, I hope
and
it happens, Dom.
I watch and listen to you every night, Bill,
Thank
because
you.
you tell the truth and you don't hide behind the race card.
Well, you come on after me, so I
respect.
listen to you too. But, you know, look, you and I are simpatico in our philosophy of life, self-reliance. America's a great country. There is opportunity if you seize it, but you have to have discipline to seize it. All right, Dominic Carter, WABC Radio. There he is. Appreciate it, Dom. Very nice of you to help us out tonight.